And we kick it off with the hot topic of the hour. Vice President J.D. Vance taking a victory lap on the border yesterday with a visit to Eagle Pass, Texas. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, joining Hegseth. All three spoke to the progress made on the border so far. Watch.
It turns out we didn't need new laws. We didn't need fancy legislation. We just needed a new president of the United States. And thank God that's exactly what we have.
The Defense Department has assets that we can bring to bear, not just troops, not just surveillance, not just equipment, but actual planning and capabilities that enhance what Border Patrol is already doing.
Our mission is very clear. Our objective is to keep the American people safe.
Last month, just over 8,000 border encounters were recorded, and that is down from 189,000 last February. Take a look at these numbers. Things have plummeted by 93%. On Capitol Hill, the House Oversight Committee grilling 4 sanctuary city mayors yesterday on how their policies are affecting American citizens. Watch.
You love illegal aliens more than you love your fellow countrymen?
I love all the residents of the city and county.
Mayor,
in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city
You don't
services,
ask about how much money the city of Boston has spent on illegal immigration? Are you out of your mind?
We don't distinguish between immigration status.
Do you manage your budget or not, Mayor Wu?
That is how we keep
Mayor
our city
Wu,
safe.
do you believe it's acceptable for illegals who commit heinous crimes be released back into the public instead of being detained and deported?
Any individual that causes harm and breaks the law
Mayor Wu?
should be held accountable.
This is why you have 6% approval rating, because you suck at answering questions.
Denver's Mayor Mike Johnston pressed for allowing a Tren de Aragua gang member to walk free and allegedly assault federal officers.
They got to send 6 officers to arrest this guy, or you can say, hey, what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hold him. You come in and bring 2 officers in, and you turn him over there. Why not do it that way?
We have a city ordinance.
You know why you don't do it that way?
We have a city ordinance that governs.
Because you're a sanctuary city. This is the whole point.
No, sir, I disagree with you.
An officer got assaulted because of your policy.
And then there was New Mexico Democrat Melanie Stansbury of going on a curse-filled rant. Watch.
I always think that we should sage this room after these hearings because we hear a lot of crazy stuff in here. It's total bull, absolute bull. They are not making America safer again, and what they are doing is terrorizing immigrant families. Our mayors are sitting here enduring this ridiculous hearing as they've been threatened in front of the American people.
This happening as the federal judge is rejecting New York City's request for the Trump administration to return $80 million in FEMA funding earmarked for migrant services. And we all remember when that happened. We were watching American citizens, Tiana, suffer while we find out FEMA is broke. And the money largely went to migrants illegally in this country.
Yeah, it's so funny that the line is that, oh, this isn't making America safer, when the data show that's specifically not true, right? Fentanyl seizures at the southern border are down 50% since Trump took office. We can debate the economic merits of the tariffs in effect, but as a diplomatic tool, they've been demonstrably successful. Canadian northern border crossings down 50%, forcing Claudia Sheinbaum, the leftist president of Mexico, her party's very much beholden to the cartels, they've been finally able to go after 900 members of the Sinaloa cartel. It's why they're sending over 29 wanted cartel operatives to the U.S. So yes, demonstrably, Trump policy is making America safe, and it's a good sign to the House that they can focus on the tax bill. The border can wait because Donald Trump's already doing it on his own.
Oh, what a split screen, Joe, right? You had Pete Hegseth and the J.D. Vance and Tulsi Gabbard at the border. And we all remember the visions that were the case last year. And then you've got these sanctuary city mayors defending the policies.
You know, I think that it might have been some uncertainty. You know, people visit Boston and Denver and Chicago, and they're like, what happened to this city? Yesterday, they found out the answer to their question. What happened was people like those 3 or 4 mayors who really have run their cities into a new level of decay. This was the most tone-deaf hearing, only perhaps surpassed by the college presidents a year ago in that master class by Elise Stefanik. But we saw mayors who were absolutely disconnected from, number one, the mandate the voters gave the Trump administration to eradicate this problem, and their own voters' needs. Michelle Wu, she's afraid of a primary. She's facing an election this year. She's afraid of a primary. She should stop focusing on her fellow Democrats, who she might perceive are are her toughest opponents, but she should look at the broader people of Boston and what their sentiment is on this crisis.
What do you think, Mario?
Absolutely. I think the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, you see since the new administration took office, we had 190,000 illegal immigrants crossing the border. You don't have a country if you don't have a border.
No.
And I think between that, the fentanyl problems, and you brought up a great point. Walk down, the streets of New York City. You're still not comfortable. We have all these vagrants, and I think at the end of the day, border control is of utmost importance.
And it's gotten better in New York. It feels a little better.
Little better.
But you're still looking behind you and worried about.
Because the policy changed.
Yeah.
Remember, Adams did make some changes. That's why we're seeing an improvement.
Right, exactly. And it's because of Trump.
Yes,
it's because of President Trump's influence on all of this. Yeah, we're seeing a little change in New York, but it's got to continue. We've got a lot to get to this